The problem, as always, is desire, wanting, craving, especially when it's something you can't seem to get your hands on. Does it turn into evil? Because you suffer, which means it's evil to you, when you don't have, but you want. And then when you want to take it from somebody else, they suffer because you wanted and they had it and you didn't. This is a really important piece of this. We do not want to be in a state of being called evil. We do not want that to be our intrinsic nature at any point in our being, in our existence. And so I want you to really embrace that at the root, at the cause of all of this is our desire. We have two types of thoughts. The one that's not emotional is the one that decides what to do with the thought. Because the rational thinking process just sees everything as information and then can choose what to do with it. Problem is the emotion jumps right in front and says, I know what to do with this. We hate it. We love it. We want it. We don't want it. And then the rational thought process goes out the window because it's much quieter. It doesn't have the loud volume that you have in the emotional side of things. And so when we talk about taking thoughts into captivity, that's what we're talking about. Information, okay, is just information. You're aware of something. You observe something through your senses and are now aware of it. That's not even a thought yet. That's just information and awareness. It's when you start to think about what to do with it. The first person we see like that is Cain, right? Because Cain just decides, I'm not going to be made to look bad by my brother. Well, you didn't get made to look bad by your brother. You made yourself look bad. See, evil as an inclination can't own anything. See, if you struggle with owning, there's a part of you that has an evil problem. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. We have a new definition of evil, okay? If you can't own, can we agree that Cain was evil when he did? Well, why'd he do it? Well, he hated his brother. But why'd he hate his brother? Because he couldn't own what he did. So when you point the finger instead of owning and you deflect whatever it is to somebody else and point the finger and blame, you're behaving in an evil way. And that's really one of the things that I think is really critical that we get from this whole thing on evil is that evil almost always causes harm on both sides. Except when Yahweh brings it, it doesn't hurt him, although it hurts him to watch, but it doesn't cause him any harm. But usually when you're in a place of evil and you think and you do something evil to somebody else, it's hurting you too, because you're suffering miserably because you're so upset, angry, jealous, whatever it is that's causing you to be in a negative place. Or you lusting and you're wanting something so bad it causes you, but that's harming you to want something that bad. What is rebellion? It's a response to I want, I don't have, or I don't like what you want me to do, and I'm not gonna, that's what rebellion is, right? Is imposing you into the situation because you feel someone's imposing themselves into your situation. Thing is, Yahweh doesn't impose. He offers you the opportunity to voluntarily choose. But you end up rebelling as if somehow it was imposed on you. He says, look, you don't have to have all the blessings. You can have the cursings. It's your choice. I lay them both before you. Moses said, I lay before you the blessing and the curse. Pick one. He says, I recommend you choose life. Because evil leads to death. That miserable pain, suffering leads to death. It takes everything you've got to overcome this evil inclination that you, and let's not go into that Christianized, mindset of, well, everything would have been just fine, but, Adam messed it up for everybody, and, the original sin. It's not about that. He wiped out everybody but Noah. He said they were going to go end up in the same place. The reason is because he gave you free will. And because he gave you free will, you have desires. Look, do you not see verse after verse about Yahweh's desires? He has desires. He desires you to do certain things. He desires you not to do certain things. He desires things to be handled a certain way. You are made in his image. You know what that means? You have desires. For your desires to bear good fruit, though, they have to align with his desires. So you have a choice. You either walk together in agreement or you separate. By the way, for all you husbands and wives, that should be an important thing for you to get. You need to walk together in agreement or separate. This fighting is killing both of you, killing your health, killing everything else. I recommend finding a way to walk in agreement. Because obviously you are together so you can learn certain things. So each of you needs to learn certain things. Observe, learn, adjust, okay? But if you're fighting in your marriage, it's because you're not walking in agreement. And I know a lot of the men are thinking, yeah, she needs to walk. No, you too. You got to adjust to her too. I mean, you didn't just bring her aboard just so she could do everything you say like you dictator. And by the way, ladies, the guy didn't come aboard so you could be the one that's the dictator either. It can be both ways, or either one, whatever. But that's why, do you want to know why people divorce? Because they can't come to agreement. If two can walk in agreement, they don't get divorced. You know, a lot of times people ask me stuff and I'll just say, I don't care. And they look at me like, no, you have to care. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to care. You guys need to stop caring so much about the wrong things. I'm not saying you need to stop caring so much, but about the wrong things. You guys do not, you're not really judicious or careful about what you care a lot about. You care a lot about almost everything. Almost everything's important to you. Almost everything's a big thing. What if you had a limited amount of caring you could do? You wouldn't just throw it out there all over the place about everything. Because I've seen people, it's like, I counsel a couple, let's say, and a couple will be like, well, I don't know why that's so important to her, or why that's so important to him. And I'm thinking, I don't either. Whatever it was, I'm thinking, why is that so important? Because what happens when something really is important? Do you have any capacity left to do that? So before making a decision as king, Rehoboam did not seek Yahweh to make those decisions. And by the way, there's three ways to seek Yahweh, all right? We'll go with 3 ways. One, obviously, you can pray. I don't know that, I don't want to diminish the value of that. It's critical that you pray, all right? But you're probably not going to get a direct answer when you pray. But in praying, you're going to be communicating that you are interested in his opinion, you are interested in his answer and his decision. And then when you go about your life with the other 2 choices that I'm going to give you, he will give you the answer you're looking for. We tend to have in us by default, I didn't cross myself, I just was pointing. I just caught myself in the monitor, I was like, what am I doing here? Those are my Illuminati hand signals. We really need to understand that evil is a absolutely easy mindset and behavior and character for us to fall into as human beings. Abba saw that it was that way in the beginning, wiped them all out and said it's going to be that way again. So we need to know right up front that us doing evil and experiencing evil is probably going to happen. How do we work that out so that we can minimize it and grow out of it and eventually get to the point where we're no longer dealing with it? It's this piece here, preparing our hearts to seek Yahweh.